Hey, this is Red Band with Death Squad, and you're listening to an episode of Your Mom's House with Tom Segura. He's on the road in Australia, and he's been doing a bunch of podcasts all the way out there. And if you want to listen to all these podcasts at Your Mom's House, you can always go to deathsquad.tv and see all the video components to all the podcasts, all the links to all the guests. Now, with Tom Segura's, he's not going to have any video because he's somewhere overseas somewhere, so... But check out all the other podcasts we do. You could also go on iTunes and subscribe to Death Squad. And we want to thank everyone for all your donations that are helping us with our server issues. We've been switching servers. I'm about to switch it for the third time. So we're getting too busy, or we're getting too popular. And so it's getting kind of crazy. But guys, thanks for listening. And now here's an episode of Your Mom's House.
And we're on. Welcome to another Momcast, Your Mom's House, down under Australian audition. There's only one mom here, Tom, because Christina didn't come to Australia. But I am joined by my fellow partner in crime for 2 weeks in Australia, the wonderfully talented, hilarious Hannibal Buress. How you doing, Hannibal?
I'm doing all right, Tom.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks.
Thanks
for having me on the Momcast.
No problem, man. I'm glad that you like the Momcast. You're in our new high-tech studio.
Yeah.
Let's see. I opened that curtain just for you, by the way, so you'd have something nice to look at. You can check out the view I got for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And we just came from the Melbourne aquarium, where they had kind of an underwhelming exhibit, would you say, in a way?
It was awesome, but it wasn't. We paid $33. I don't think it was $33 awesome. I think it was in the 12 to 15 range.
That's a great assessment. And as you noted, I think as we were walking through, they opened the show too big, man. They opened with their headlining act, you know?
They open with the penguins, and you start out and you see the penguins, and they're great, and then you see fish.
And like bullshit fish, too.
Bullshit fish, and some good fish, but they have a different look. The penguins are doing stuff. The fish are only swimming. So, yeah, I think that's a horrible setup on their part because you kind of bummed out just looking at fish. But then they do close out nicely with the sharks.
But I got to say, the shark exhibit for me was a bit of a letdown. I was expecting some fucking monsters. You know, I wanted to see, like, great whites and hammerheads and shit, but... I mean, it was cool the way it was set up, but I wanted to see bigger, crazier sharks.
I think we might have missed. We should have timed it out to get there for feeding time.
Yeah,
because we got to see the penguins get fed, and
that was really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool, and so we should have seen the sharks get fed. Well, I wish something would have went wrong and one shark went crazy and started eating all the other fish.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
That would have been amazing. What is your assessment thus far of your time here? I mean, you've never been to Australia before, right?
No.
Like, what's your honest take on this country, or at least this city?
It's a fun city, man. I've had a lot of fun here. The crowds have been really great. We've been eating a lot of food, going out to eat.
We've been eating a lot.
Been eating a lot. And
drinking a lot, too.
Drinking a lot. But it's been fun. I'm happy that they brought me over here to do comedy, man. It's nice.
It's kind of crazy, right, that we do a thing where, like, there's someone on the other side of the world that's like, hey, we want you to do that thing that you do fucking 8,000 miles away. Will you come and do that for us?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
It's nice. It's a far cry from, paying to go on stage.
Yeah.
Which, I was doing that 5 years ago. So
that's so insane. Hold on. Now I want to get like some Hannibal background so that everybody understands like the context of of who you are and stuff. So you are from Chicago originally.
Yeah, from Chicago.
And that's where you started comedy?
Well, my first time on stage was in my college town,
which was
Carbondale, Illinois.
How far is that from Chicago?
5-hour drive south of Chicago.
So you graduate high school, you go to Carbondale College.
Southern Illinois University.
The city's Carbondale.
The city is
okay,
Carbondale, yeah.
You go to Southern Illinois University. What's Southern Illinois University like?
It's known for being a party school.
It is.
It's sort of in a rural area. It's definitely a college town. It's one of those cities where the college is the main part of the city, and it brings a lot of income to the city. But it was fun. It's not the greatest school,
right? Well, at least you went to a school of people. I went to a school that nobody even heard of, man. When I say my school,
what's that?
Lenore Ryan College.
Ooh,
that sounds like a skin disease or something. Right?
Where is that?
That's in Hickory, North Carolina.
It's a liberal arts small college?
Yeah, yep. It's the only school that accepted me.
Really?
That's not a joke. Yeah, it really is.
Where else did you apply? UNC?
Nah, fuck. I wasn't going to apply to UNC.
You from North Carolina?
No. I was in high school in Florida.
Okay.
I wanted to get out of Florida. I liked that region, so I applied to, like, South Carolina, Clemson, like those schools, and they were all like, nah, man, nah.
I applied to University of Miami.
You did?
Solely because of Will Smith's song. I'm dead serious.
You're being serious right now?
I'm being very serious right now. I was 16. I was like, that sounds dope. I want to go to school there.
You're like, welcome to Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami.
Yes.
So you're like, that's where I want to go. That's fucking amazing.
That was one of the places. I applied there. I applied to Howard University.
Did you get into Howard?
I got into Howard, and I was going to transfer to Clark Atlanta University.
Okay.
But I didn't end up. I was accepted for the transfer, but I didn't end up going.
Hold on. Okay. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. All right. I got to talk into this. So wait, you applied to Howard. You got into Howard. Mm-hmm. You were going to transfer to Howard or no?
No, I applied there out of high school.
And what made you not go?
I think it was the loans. Like, it would have cost way more than going to a state school.
Yeah. Far too. I mean, from if you wanted to be near home, I don't know if that made a difference.
That wasn't really an issue. It was the SIU thing was partially a convenience thing because I went to a program called Future Scholars where you can kind of go to a college campus after your junior or senior year and take classes and kind of get the college experience. And I did that both years, and so I had credits going in to SIU.
Were you a good student in high school?
No, I was awful.
You were?
I tested really well, but I was an awful student. I could have been a good student. GPA was the worst, but I had a good ACT score.
The only kid I had the second lowest GPA in my graduating high school class.
Yeah.
And the only kid with a lower GPA, his real name was Norbert.
Oh man.
So if you're only smarter than Norbert.
Yeah, but it's not GPA is in a sense a thing of smartness.
It's about
responsibility and the time you put in, and
which mine was zero.
It's time management and effort. A dumb person can get a really good GPA if they put the effort in, they go to all the classes and work on it. So, I mean, it looks better to have a good GPA, but whatever.
Okay, so you go to, what are you studying at Southern Illinois?
Initially, business administration, but I wasn't taking those classes yet. They had this class, finite math, which was really hard.
Oh, no, math sucked. Were you a good math student?
I was a good regular math student, but finite math seemed like fake, useless math.
Yeah.
I could do math in my head really well, but that math, I didn't see a use for it, and so that class was really hard, so I changed majors.
To what?
Education for a couple weeks, but then...
Couple weeks?
I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I was 17, 18.
Yeah.
Education, and then maybe undecided, and then radio, TV production.
That's what I graduated with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of comics that go into communications.
Yeah, that was good. I didn't end up graduating. I just left school.
When did you leave school?
4 years after school, but I didn't have enough credits.
How far away were you?
Maybe another year. I think about a year.
So, at what point in college what year did you first get on stage?
2002, so that would be going towards the end of my sophomore year.
Oh, towards the end of your sophomore year.
Yeah.
What are you, 19, 20?
19.
And where's the gig, or what's the open mic?
The Big Muddy Room in the basement of the student center.
And they had shows there regularly?
Yeah, they had shows there. They had a monthly open mic, plus sometimes when they would bring a comedian, they would do that. That would be the room they did. Like I saw Kevin Hart played that room.
Really?
While I was there, yeah.
Oh wow.
Bill Burr played there. Saw a bunch of good comedians.
So you do it once. Does that like hook you, or you're like, I'm gonna keep going?
Yeah, pretty much.
How does that first show go?
It went so-so, but if you get chuckles early on, you just think that went great. You don't know that won't work in a club.
Right.
Like you don't know the levels of laughs, and so if you get certain chuckles, I knew it didn't go great, but it was enough for me at the time.
And then, do you quit school shortly thereafter to do stand-up, or no?
No, I stayed in school. I kept kind of doing it. And then one semester, I failed out. And so, like, when you fail out, you go to the junior college.
Yeah.
In the town, like, and people's parents don't know that you're in the... Or your parent... A lot of people's parents wouldn't know that their kids are actually in the junior college for a
wow.
semester.
So, like, because they don't...
So
you can stay near where you went to college. And
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a lot of people would do that. So you go to the...
Did your parents know?
I think my parents eventually found out.
But not right away.
But not right away, no. So you go to the junior college for a semester, get decent grades, and then go back into SIU.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you do that?
I did that, then came back in, sort of made an effort at school again, but not really. I guess I intended to, and I just stopped going to my classes or caring about them, and I was doing a lot of comedy, and then that was 04, and yeah.
So then you drop out.
I dropped out.
And you move back to the city, to Chicago?
To my folks' place.
You do. And you start
Doing
hitting
open mics, yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And what do your parents think of this, like initially?
I didn't think well of it.
No, they didn't. Really?
Nah, of course not.
Well,
It'd be different if I graduated.
But they're like, you're kind of an asshole, man.
Yeah,
like, you dropped out of school and you're doing open mics.
Yeah, you are an asshole.
Yeah.
You dropped out and now you're staying with us and you don't have a job or a degree, but you were in school 4 years.
Yeah, I guess that is all around, like, not the thing you want.
4 years.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah, what did you get done with those 4 years?
I did comedy, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, but they're thinking like...
Yeah, that's what they're thinking, I mean, I had, I think I was at about 85 credit hours.
All right, so you're pretty far along.
Yeah, so, I mean, but, yeah, I fucked off a lot of time there. And I look back, I didn't really, it wasn't, those memories aren't that good for me to be like, yeah. Yeah, that was worth not getting a degree. Now I kind of wish that...
With loans and all that shit?
Yeah, with loans. Look, the loans, they were on me for a while.
Yeah. So now, okay, so you're home, you're doing a bunch of open mics. When do you start to do, like when do you start getting paid gigs?
I mean, it was spotty, man. I guess, when did I really start featuring and getting some gigs? Because I was getting some stuff while I was in school, like small stuff.
Yeah.
Like I went to this one club. It was an awful club in Vincennes, Indiana.
Yeah.
What was the name of it? But that's a small little horrible town. But I was so excited to drive and host this horrible club. I was like, I'm on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Staying in an apartment in Vincennes, Indiana. Sure. But I remember being just like calling my brother, like, I'm here in Vincennes.
Yeah. I remember, man. I remember emceeing a gig in Brea, California, the Brea Improv.
Yeah.
And that was fucking like, oh man, that was like Madison Square Garden for me. Yeah. I was like, man, this is the shit. I'm getting $50 a set right now.
When I first started featuring at Zany's in Chicago, you couldn't tell me anything. I thought I was a headline. I might as well have been headlining.
Really? Did you have a pretty big head about it?
Not a big head, but I was just really, it was a big deal whenever I would get a full week, because then you're not worried about the money. You happy to get paid, but you're not like, this is horrible pay.
Yeah.
You're like, this is great. I'm doing, this is 9 shows, Tuesday through Sunday, one show, all the days except Friday and Saturday, 2 shows Friday, 3 shows Saturday. So you're just doing shows and just, excited to be up there.
Were you like pretty like sure of yourself? Like you were like, I know what I'm doing?
At some points I was. At some points I kind of, it depended. And it wavers.
And then at this point, you've already decided, like, this is your career, though, right? You've already decided, like, I'm going to do stand-up? Or is it still kind of like, I'm doing stand-up because I like it, I'm getting some money, but are you still, like...
I was pretty all in.
You're all in?
I was all in on it.
So, you're doing this, you're doing feature weekends and stuff. Then
scattered, though. Scattered is not full-time.
Do you move to New York after you've been headlining stuff, or do you move to New York as...
I moved to New York the first time in 2006.
Oh, you moved twice to New York?
Yeah. Well, the first time I kind of just came to New York.
That's 2006?
Yeah.
And where do you move, like, where do you go?
To my sister's place.
In...
Without telling her.
What? Hold on.
I was an asshole.
Yeah, man.
Self-absorbed. I just popped up.
You just showed up?
Like, hey, I don't know, because I was like, if I tell her I'm coming, she's going to say no. So.
You saw the way around the problem.
So I just popped up in New York, just because I was that single-minded on, I was like, I got to go to New York and do stand-up. My sister live in New York, so I live in New York.
Wow.
And she had a kid and a husband.
Shit, Jesus, man. So, wait, what part of New York is she in?
She's staying in Washington Heights.
Washington Heights, okay. It's in Manhattan.
Like 200
yeah.
something. It's uptown.
Yeah, uptown, yeah. So you go, you get on a plane?
I took the Amtrak.
You took the Amtrak from Chicago?
To Penn Station.
And
went from Penn Station with my luggage to an open mic that was going on during the day. It was a Saturday, and it was like 4 or 5 in the evening. And I went to this open mic that I printed out a list of different open mics, and I went straight to one with my luggage.
Shut up, man.
Yeah.
And then, did you get on?
Yeah, I got on.
How'd it go?
Went okay, I guess. Okay. And then from there, with my luggage, I went to this place, Sal's Comedy Hole.
Yeah.
And
he's in L.A. now.
Yeah. And I did their open mic. And then it was still early, and then they had their regular shows later. So I barked for a spot on one of his shows, like passing out flyers and stuff, and did a spot on the club show before I even went to my sister's place.
Holy shit. So you got in 2 sets before you went?
3 sets.
3 sets before you went. So then what time is your final set basically over where you decide, I want to go to my sister's now?
It was obnoxiously late. It was all bad. Oh. I think it was like probably midnight or some shit like
really?
That.
So
it was awful.
It was awful. So
man, that's terrible. I was terrible, man.
So you show up. Is she like, what the fuck are you doing here, basically?
Not really.
No, she's pretty cool.
I mean, I'm sure her husband was like, he didn't say anything to me, but I know he didn't like that at all.
Sure.
But I couldn't even, right then, I couldn't even fathom that. Like, I couldn't even see how it was horrible.
What made you realize it? Like, just getting older, like maturing, you realized it? Like, that, were you like, that was fucked up or whatever?
I mean, I think I realized a little bit after, like, they kicked me out after a couple weeks.
Oh,
they
really?
Were leaving town.
And they're like, you gotta go.
Yeah, and she was like, you gotta go. Yeah, they didn't let me stay at the place while they were gone.
And were you, like, upset about it, though?
I was bummed about it.
Really?
I was really pissed, yeah. But they were right.
Yeah. But I mean, how long did it take you to realize that they were right or whatever?
I think it might have been a couple years, and maybe even me having my own space and stuff. Or I can't pinpoint the exact moment.
No, I just think it's interesting. Like in life, I'm saying that we all have had moments where, like, at the time you're like, you don't see it, or you're like, what the fuck, and then later on you're like, oh, oh, I fucked up. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you're like, oh, I was an asshole, actually.
Yeah.
You know? But, like, a lot of times you don't realize it in the
No,
moment.
you don't realize it. I couldn't. I was like, she's my sister. She's supposed to put me
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I'm supposed to be able to just pop up. I'm a little brother.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could just pop up in the town, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
No, not
No,
right.
No.
It's awful, dude.
So, wait, so those 2 weeks go by, and do you go back to Chicago?
No.
You just find a place to
I
crash?
was staying in hostels.
Fuck, man. Really?
Yeah. I stayed in a bunch of different hostels. I crashed on the train a bunch. Like, I was legit homeless. Just
Seriously?
didn't want to go back. I couldn't go back home right away, just out of pure pride.
Yeah.
And not wanting to fucking crawl back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I made a big deal about going to New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta stick it out here. And it was, stuff started.
How much of luggage did you have? I'm sorry, going back to luggage, but
It
Like,
wasn't
I'm
that. It was a
picturing you-
backpack and maybe a duffel of stuff.
so at least you could. It's
But I
comfortable.
would have my stuff stashed in different places. Like out and then
You
I
really
would
were
kinda
like
crash
a
at people.
fucking, like a street dude, like just crash, like putting stuff places and
Yeah, I would leave my bag place and then keep what I needed with me. Like keep my backpack with me, full of the stuff that I needed.
So how long overall does this first New York run last?
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah,
Wow, man. And only 2 weeks of that was at your sister's
only
place?
2 weeks at my sister's.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
Hostels and just fucking
hostels, crashing.
on the train you
On the
crashed.
train a bunch. I remember one time it was this girl in New York. There was a friend of a friend. Like we had all met. We went back to her place. There was a few of us after a show or something. And we hanging, and her place was so disgusting. It was like the nastiest place I ever been in, and it was horrible. And she offered for me to crash there, and I was like, nah, I went and slept on the train.
What?
That's how nasty her place was.
What was it? Was there fucking shit on the ground?
It's just disgust. Imagine how much will you be like, nah, I'll go sleep
On a
around
tr-
strangers on
on a-
public transportation instead of staying your place. That's how nasty her
Foul
place
as
was.
shit. That's the nastiest. Like that's like a fucking sewage dump. She must
I
have
was
lived
in
in.
that shit like, you know what? Let me just go out.
I always had a thing. You know, people are weird about like where they crash and stuff. I had a thing in high school where if there was like, I would be at a friend's house party, right? House parties were always big in high school where I
Yeah.
was, and like they would be like, we would drink a lot. You know, we're under 16 years old,
Yeah.
fucking hammered, and then they'd be like, hey, you can crash here, and I would always be like, nah,
Yeah.
I want to go home. I want to sleep in my bed,
Yeah.
and I would drive drunk as fuck back to my place because I had like a mental fix about not crashing
Yeah.
somewhere else, you know?
Right.
But what you're talking about is obviously a heinous fucking home that this person has.
It was awful.
Did it smell? Because smells really fuck shit
I
up.
don't know if it smelled that bad. I just remember it being awful. Just disgusting. I don't know where I would have. It was really bad. It was.
I'm so blown away by your like dedication to this right now.
My dedication to
To going after this stuff.
to say my observations on the mundane.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I
mean,
really
listen,
gotta stay in New York and do these jokes about Nelly. I have to stay here.
It's incredible,
Talk
man.
about rappers. They have to hear me dissect rap lyrics. I can't go back home.
Did you do a lot of rap lyrics?
I still. I mean,
I know I heard your rap stuff, but I mean,
I've always done.
You done a lot of
like,
rap?
stuff. I've always.
The video. I'm not going to give away your bits, obviously,
Yeah.
but your video bit is fantastic, man.
Thanks, man.
It's really, really great. Hold on, I'm totally. We're doing fucking like 60 minutes right now, like 20. Not literally,
Yeah.
but I'm doing the full interview. I realize. So the 4 months passed. You go back to Chicago, and
But I got while I was in New York, I started getting on shows and getting a little bit of buzz, and I booked New Faces while I was in New York.
oh, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah,
So that means that all your fucking struggles at least had a huge redeeming
Yeah.
thing for you.
yeah, it did.
And when you booked New Faces, that must have you were through the roof. You had to be.
I was really psyched. I think I found out about it while I was back in Chicago. Yeah, I did find out about it while I was back in Chicago, but
So
yeah,
you-
it was really exciting.
Yeah, man. Come on. So how far into stand up are you at this point?
I was doing it 4 years.
That's relatively early to get new faces.
Yeah, and that was the first time I auditioned for it, and they say people don't get it.
They definitely don't. No.
So that was really, like, I had a bunch of good showcases. And it was really weird one time where my last one, I did 2 callbacks, one initial audition and 2 callbacks, and I was at the comic strip, and the setup went really well, and there was all these managers like, "Hey, you're really good," like, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like, after all that industry bullshit, like going to sleep on the train.
Wow, man! But see, that's incredible, man. This is like folklore, right? Like this is gonna be like, man, you know, Hannibal, the dude would sleep on the train before. Like that seriously is gonna be the shit that people say. So you, okay.
But it was, I don't glorify it at all, because I could have went home at any point. My parents are doing all right. Like, it was unnecessary.
Right. It was
homelessness.
Right.
Like, I could have tried to make up with my, like, I was holding a grudge at that time against her. I could have tried to make up with her and crash at her place. It was all youthful, silly pride.
Yeah.
So
you make up with her since?
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool.
So you get your new faces. Mm-hmm. Or you're back in Chicago.
Yeah.
You do New Faces. New Faces goes well for you.
I got management out of it.
Still with them?
Not with that manager, but I'm with that company now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What company?
3 Arts.
Oh.
And so my manager was at 3 Arts, left, and then he wasn't really helping me get stuff at all. So I was like, all right, I don't think I need a manager.
We're all with 3 Arts.
Yeah, I know, but he left 3 Arts.
No, I'm saying it's weird.
Oh, yeah. Tom, you and
Mosh.
Yeah, and Mosh also 3 Arts. Yeah. But now, yeah, they're good
now. Okay, so you go, you get your manager or whatever, and then how long do you stay in Chicago before you try to go back to New York again?
2 more years.
So 2 more years back in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then at this point, do you really feel like your comedy's building and changing?
Well, yeah. Well, I had done a little bit of TV. I did the Holland show. I did from Montreal. I booked the TV show in Holland called The Comedy Factory, where they flew me out there and did that in 2006, and I did Ferguson in 2007. So I was starting to get some work. I wasn't, booked out, but I was getting some feature work. And then I was making trips to New York where I would come in, do a week or 2 in New York of just running around, doing spots, then go back. So I was starting to, be able to get traction in New York. And yeah, then I decided to make the move again.
So you make the move again. Now, the one thing, like, at what point, like, one of the things I think about comics that, like, is, kind of like your calling card for a comic is that, like, a comic who's really developed has, like, a distinct, like, style. Like, you can go, like, you can listen to, like, any number of comics. You could say Chris Rock, or you can say, whatever. You could have said Mitch Hedberg, or you can say, I don't know, Ellen, or anybody. Like, there's just, like, a style. And I feel like you have your own style. Like, your delivery is very much unique. It's your own, right? It stands out as your own. Did it take a while for that to come out? Or, like, do you think, like, did you always tell jokes kind of the way you do your jokes now, or was that more like a process?
In a similar, I think it's just the way I do it now is just a more developed way of from when I started. It's not much different.
Really?
Like even in the subject matter. Like now it's just tighter. I might delve deeper into stuff, but I think it's similar, like just laid back and talking about stuff. And
your delivery was always kind of
always kind of laid back. Yeah,
it's great, and it's very distinct, which is like a huge thing. I think like you don't want to like no one's. I don't think listens to you and is like, yeah, but he sounds like 8 other guys. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing that no one can take away from a comic is when they have like a really unique way of delivering their material. Yeah. So you go back to New York, and then. This is like what, 07?
This is 08.
08. And how long are you in New York before you book Fallon?
I guess October. like 10 months.
So you're doing a bunch of shows.
I'm doing a bunch of shows.
Are you working?
I'm on the road.
Are you working a part-time job too, or
No,
not?
not working anymore. Just doing stand-up. Like, not like making a decent living where I could pay rent, and I'm working a decent amount doing colleges, headlining some spots, and yeah.
Okay, so then you do Fallon, and that goes great for you.
Yeah.
You feel good about it that night, right? You're like, oh, it's great
Yeah.
TV spot. And then what happens?
Then a couple weeks later, I get a meeting with SNL, and they hire me to write on SNL.
That's got to be, when you think back to like going to New York and sleeping on the train sometimes, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know, not like, you had a choice, you could have gone, but still,
Yeah.
you were crashing on the train, and then you get hired by Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the opposite end of the spectrum, right?
Yeah, I think about the sides of New York that I've lived on and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, it's definitely opposite.
Are you, like, over the moon about this shit? Like, you must be fucking psyched.
Oh yeah, I was really psyched, man. I was like, holy shit, this is great, and it's gonna be really fun. And I got a writing job on a show,
And not just any show,
yeah.
like an iconic show.
Yeah, a weekly paycheck. What's funny is that I was about to take, like I had the SNL meeting, it was coming up, but I had an offer to write for this MTV pilot, like it was something not that great, and I was like ready to take that.
Sure.
Because it was guaranteed. It
Yeah.
was like a couple grand or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just take this, man. And my agents are like, take the SNL meeting. Because I'm thinking it's a general meeting and not something where they talking about a job. I'm thinking it's just something. I'm like, I guess they want to just talk or something. Because you have so many meetings where people
Sure.
just like, hey, what's your story?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you should have fucking read my story already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was thinking it's that. But so I went and did the meeting, and yeah.
And then SNL, obviously, you do that for a year.
Yeah.
It's a great experience for you. You're writing sketches every week, right?
Yeah, writing every week, just being a part of that live show and learning that format and just being able to work around everybody. It was really cool. It was fun because I had a couple people that I knew already that were working there.
Oh, you did know people there?
Yeah, Jenny Slate, John Mulaney, I had already done a bunch of shows with.
Is it an intimidating experience, or not experience, intimidating like environment to go into? Like it's such a big name.
The most intimidating thing is when you your piece is in the read through and you're in the room and everybody's got their scripts and your piece is bombing horribly and you can't do anything about it because you're detached from it. It's the actors, they're reading now.
Yeah.
The piece is doing bad.
That's the worst.
It's just like, oh fuck, you like sweating.
Yeah.
It's like when your piece is coming up, you see your piece. Say your piece is 30th in the read.
Yeah.
It's like 28 or something. You're like, oh shit, let me see. And then you get to your piece, like, oh man, it's sweating, like watching. You watching
it's the
everybody.
worst, right?
You watching everybody like do their lines. You looking around, like, oh shit.
Looking for eye rolls and shit.
That is kind of nerve-wracking.
And then the best feeling has to be when your piece is being read and people are laughing. And
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I didn't have many things get on, but I did have a handful of things that did really well and read through, and that was really cool when the cast members come up and like, yeah, that was funny. I like that thing. Or I like this bit. So that was fun.
So how now you do this for your then now you change writing jobs.
Yeah.
You go to 30 Rock.
Yeah.
How do you go from one to the other? How does that work? Like, how did that happen for you?
I don't really know. I think somebody recommended me for it, and I set up the meeting with them.
And is your meeting with Tina?
With Tina and Robert Carlock.
Wow. That's and does that pitch to you like as a general as well, or it's like
no? That was definitely a meeting
legit.
about that. I knew that was about the job, like right out straight away.
And interview goes well.
Goes well, yeah.
And then how long till you offered the job?
It was a couple weeks or so.
And how is the experience writing on that for you different than SNL? I mean, it's a totally different show, obviously.
For a lot of reasons, it was different. One, is that they were already working. I think they had been working a month or so, maybe more, before I got there. 2, I was the only new person. At SNL, there were it was like 5 or 6 new writers, so you had like kind of a shared experience with people where you're the new person. But the format is different, but it's also more collaborative, and it's not that lone wolf or pack of wolves type of thing where you're working on something with something and you have to get that on. It's more everybody working on a script and in a room talking together. So, and you might say some idea and somebody else might get inspired by that idea and that'll get in the script. So it's more collaborative in that way. So yeah, very like they. I've heard Tina and other people say this, but just the format themselves, where in the sketch you're trying to tell a story in 3 or 4 minutes, and it's just one character and a main character. You just got to heighten it over that short amount of time. Whereas in a sitcom, you got to tell a story over. It has to have an arc for that episode, and also for that season, and for within the whole show itself.
It's actually way more difficult to put together that kind of thing in a way, right? In a way.
Yeah, it's definitely a tougher thing to do. The story, like breaking story, and that was really tough. Like sitting in the room, trying to think of storylines, especially for a show that's already been on several seasons. So I'm pitching stuff like, oh, we already did that, or
that's gotta suck.
or
do you have to feel like when you get hired? Did you go back and start watching episodes? Is that part of it or not?
I watched that. Yeah, I watched most of the episodes. I'd already seen, because I was a fan of the show already, so I saw most of them. But I rewatched a bunch. And, like caught stuff that I missed and everything. Yeah, it was. It's interesting, man.
And you also got to be on camera with that.
They put me in a bunch of put me in 5 episodes.
What's your character?
One time I played a fake Tracy, and 4 times I played a creepy homeless dude. So it's art imitating old life.
That's great, man. And now, obviously, you're doing a lot of stand-up.
Yeah.
You have an album that came out called what? My Name is Hannibal?
My
Name is Hannibal. I have the album.
Oh.
I bought the album.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I put money in your pocket, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
It's been fun, man. Back to now, we got that was quite a bit of backstory, but I want people to know all about you. We've been having a blast here with shows, too.
Yeah.
We have a fun gig. It's you, myself, and Moshe Kasher.
Yeah.
And we do 20-minute sets in Australia. They fly us to do 20-minute sets. And we take turns in the rotation every night. One of us opens, one of us middles, one of us closes. But it's just been really the crowds, don't you think the crowds here? Well, we talked about this. One of the things is the environment.
Yeah.
There's no fucking drinks being served.
No drinks being served. That definitely, because people are focused all the time.
No check drop.
No check drop.
And you don't hear petty conversation, clanging drinks, or really any heckling. Really.
No.
We've done a bunch of shows at this point.
Nobody's yelled out anything unless you kind of ask them to.
Yeah. It's kind of like the most desirable way to perform comedy, right?
Yeah,
a captive audience?
Yeah, I had to say so. I would say so.
It's pretty amazing, man. I don't know. I kind of wish that there was a lot more of what we're seeing here back home.
Yeah, but it won't be.
Yeah, I know.
But it is nice, man. That you don't realize, because you're so used to performing in that situation, you don't realize how much of a distraction just drink service could be. Because some people order their drinks loud as hell. So say not only the table where the drinks are being ordered from is distracted, somebody to the left of them that's not at that table, they hear a little bit, so they get out of the show. So it could definitely change the dynamics. So.
And sometimes too, they're not trying to distract you.
Yeah.
But you could be in the middle of so then I went down to and you hear someone be like, yeah, we'll have another one.
Yeah.
One more of these. And you go, hey man, what the fuck? And they're like, no, I was just trying to order a drink. You're like, yeah, but you're fucking everything up, right? It takes you out of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It takes everybody out of what they're doing, It's a horrible setup.
The interval thing is I think that's a great way to do it. Where they do intermissions after a couple.
Yes, that's pretty cool too. They have they call it brackets, and so there's like a first, second, and third bracket at the clubs. And what they'll do is they'll have like 3 or 4 comics on. They'll each do like 10, 15-minute spots. Then there'll be a 15-minute intermission. People can go smoke. They can go take a leak. They can do whatever they want. They can fucking leave. And then they come and they're like, hey, intermission's about to wrap up. People go back, see 3 more comics, another break. That's a really good system.
It is, because it gives people a little break. They can go talk about the comedy if they want and get some more drinks and kind of get relaxed, and it makes you able to have a longer show because of that.
I think some comics in the States have really picked up on that environment is the way to go, because you're seeing a lot of guys doing more like, rock club or small theater venues, the ones that can.
Yeah.
And that's basically that environment where it's like people are just listening to you.
Yeah. I've done a couple just music venues on my own, and it's really nice, because when you're doing those places, if you're doing comedy at a music venue, those people came specifically to see you.
Yeah.
It's nobody random. It's nobody gonna be like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Or, I got free tickets. Or
Yeah.
no bachelorette party is
No.
coming to some 100-seat music venue.
No.
You know what I mean?
So you're doing some of those now.
I'm doing a couple of those.
All right, we're gonna. I don't want to make this thing too long, but we have a few more shows here. Is there anything you're looking forward to do besides going home?
Man. I feel I should go shop for my mom and some people back home.
Man, that's really thoughtful of you, man.
Yeah, I should definitely do that.
Do you have any idea what you're going to get her?
She asked for Aboriginal art.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't you do some Aboriginal jokes tonight and then?
And YouTube them.
Yeah.
This is art.
This is
about
art right here.
Aboriginal.
There you go, Mom. Do you? We always do what we got coming up. He has an album. If you haven't heard Hannibal, after I gave you the inside the comic studio background on him, you're really fucking funny, man.
Thank you.
Really, really funny. One of the funniest guys I've seen. And your album is great, so you should pick up his album. It's on iTunes.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you have a tour that kicks off. I mean, I guess this is kind of part of it. Yeah, but you have a U.S. tour that's legit, like a lot of dates coming up. Where are like the first few?
The first few is Tallahassee, Florida, and Boston. That's Tallahassee is April 15th, Boston April 22nd, and then Portland, and some L.A. dates, Irvine.
And then I saw, and then it goes everywhere. You're really doing a bunch.
Yeah, doing a bunch, man.
And it's like 3 months of touring.
3 months straight.
And what's the name of the tour?
My name is Hannibal Tour, a.k.a. the Hannibal Montanable Experience.
That's phenomenal. And if you want to check out those dates, they're on your website, which is
HannibalBuress.com.
And that's Hannibal the way you would spell Hannibal.
Yeah.
And Buress is Buress.
Yes, or Hannibal.com.
Oh, you have both?
Yeah.
Okay, is that a Tumblr or something?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Let's see, I'm going, we do a few more shows here Thursday. Yeah, we got 4 more shows in Australia. I go home Monday, and I'm actually home for like a week or 2, and then off to the Improv in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the Hard Rock Seminole Casino. And then I'll have a couple other dates posted in for May on my website. So this has been great, man. Thank you for sitting down and chatting.
No problem. Thank you, Tom.
And we'll do another Momcast real soon. All right. Bye-bye, mates. Fosters. How back. Gotta get this thing going.